Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Friday, February 27th, last trading day of the month. And let's see how this month closing is going to go. It's going to be, and NVIDIA earnings come out yesterday, or sorry, Wednesday, a little bit of a negative reaction yesterday. So far today, this morning, we got the PPI number come out. That could be an interesting one. Coming out at 8:30, PPI final, international trade as well. Chicago PMI at 9:45. Construction spending at around 10 o'clock. I had one at 9:55 and one at 10. So maybe it's two reports. I don't know. We'll see. But so we have construction spending coming out at around about 10. So that's what we got on tap for today. And we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. Right now, we're a little bit on the downside in the overnight. We kind of, we pretty much in the bigger picture sitting in here flirting or like just twisting in the wind in this range. So I'm gonna just take this range right now, the little move we had to the upside, fold it in like this, fold that thing in like this, and there we are right back in this lower range again. The F1 there's still very much a ledge here at the 69.30s. We still have the support area down here at the 68.20s and down here at the 69.60s as well. So as long as they hold the support area at the 68.20, down to 6800, down to the 68.20s, and the resistance area at 69.30, we're probably going to have to be range bound here, twisting in the wind. If they start taking out the lows again, I mean, I'm going to hold off for the 68.30 support area. That's going to be just above this F1 support area. So you have these areas 30, 20, and 10s. This whole thing kind of corresponds to this area down here at the on the F1. And if that comes out, I'll be more worried about the short side and something more structurally happening on the market. Right now, they're holding on pretty good. It's a rotation between stocks more than it is a market sell-off. So yeah, some of the tech stocks getting hammered, and it feels pretty hard and rough on those stocks. But then you have other stocks which are benefiting. So just have to take it with a grain of salt and see kind of how things going to shake out on it. Looking at so starting off today, I would just start off range bound. I would look to buy against weakness right now against the 68.80, 68.70s, down to the 68.50s and 30s, rotations back up. I would still buy against the 20s, 10s. I'll look for buying opportunities, but if they start taking out that 68.70s, the low of yesterday, I would probably stay on the short side. That slight short bias, if anything, stay on that, see if they can run it, how far they want to run it in the morning, and then see where they're going to try to find support. But if that's going to be the day's dynamic, they're going to try to run it and test the other side. Well, then we're going to be down here in these 68, 10, 20, 30s for a bit. But right now, I mean, we are starting off pretty range bound. Given the overnight, I would look for early weakness, looking to sell. We're going to buy against these areas, 68.70s, 68.50s, 30s, 20s, 10s, rotations up. So if they hold this area, the 68.70s, I would probably take off that short bias and go back more range bound if they can't get past that by midday or so. So, and on the way up, looking for shorts against the 69.05, 69.20, or can we say 15s, 20s? Yeah, 15s, 69.30s, above that 69.30 level, above this area again, this big ledge. And then I would be leaning in on it, or not leaning in, but I would be more inclined to stay on the long side and see how far they want to move this to the upside. So that's kind of the dynamic right now. Range bound trading. Look to sell strength, look to buy weakness. If this starts trading above the 69.30, or I would say I would give it below the 68.50 before I really start thinking about the short side. But that would probably be stay on the short side if they take out that 68.70s. Excuse me. But it's above the 68.30, 69.30s, I would be more inclined to stay on the long side. Below that 68.50, I would probably be inclined to stay on the short side a little bit more aggressively. I would probably stay on the short side below the 68.70 if they still get below that as well. But it is a little bit in the twilight zone in the middle there. When they start heading below the 68.50s, probably stay on the short side and see how far they want to run it at that point. Still looking to buy against these lower support areas. And if that lower area, the 6,800 comes out, well, to take out this area, then I think we're in some trouble if that happens. But that's how we get started. Pretty much range bound trading, and then we'll see if it's going to be any changes in the dynamic after we get the PPI number come out. I think there are probably some concerns, maybe that there could be some military action over the weekend, but I haven't heard anything that the talks are going really bad or anything like that. So we probably won't know a whole lot, but that's going to be that is that big unknown out there. What's going to happen if there's anything happen militarily with the Iranians? Now the excuse me, the Nasdaq, same story there. This move up here to this upper edge was just that. Yeah, reversed, back down again. And then I'll fold this back together now like this. And I'm going to fold this back together like that. So now you see that this distribution is kind of pairing out. I mean, we had this move to the upside, or we had that move to the down, no, not downside there. Yeah, we had that move to the downside for a bit, but they've been going back and forth there a few times. You can see that low volume area at the 25,100 now, pretty obvious. That's a pretty good resistance area to watch. Support area down here at the 650s. And this is the bigger picture. So in the short term, looking to sell strength, buy weakness pretty equally. They're going to sell against the 25,030s, the 90s, 130s up to the 170s. And that the 170s takes us right above this area, the resistance area. So that would be this whole area coming out. Then we may be back up in this upper range, potentially up testing that 650 again. On the way down, if the overnight weakness continues, still looking to buy against support against the 920. We're there right now. 870s, 810s, 760s, 740s, down to the 680s. Now the lower end of this range is down at the 640s. So that's going to be, if they start taking out this area, the 680s, we'll be back in this we'll be back in this range support area. And so this whole area starts right below this thing. So if that starts getting back in that area, I would still look to buy against it in these areas. I would start leaning in on the short side a little bit more below the 680s. They clear this support area, the about 600 to 700 range. Yeah, bets are off. We're going to be heading lower at that point. So that is Nasdaq. So starting off range bound on both against the Nasdaq right now. They given the overnight, starting with a slight bias to the downside to see if we can retest these lows, potentially take it lower. But if that doesn't materialize, I'm going to fall back just flat out range bound. So let's see how that's PPI. PPI could potentially change the direction a bit, so that could be something. And then finally, bonds. The bond market doing anything? Let me see. Oops. The bond market took out my resistance area. They're up here against the 1810 now. And let me see if that's significant. No, they're up in an area. They're extending. So pop a little bit above the resistance area, 118, 118.04. So now we are in a spot where we have 46. So now we are technically on the long side of this. I would just give it a little bit of patience. So they ticked up a couple of ticks. Doesn't mean that they're going to keep going, but I'm watching it. So if the setup occurs, maybe try a short trade. But right now, I'm going to be a little bit less aggressive on that, looking for a decent setup before I do anything. But it looks like they're trying to take it higher. So I would stay on the long side, looking to buy against the 06s now, against the pullback, against these 118s for rotations up. And if it trades below the 118s, I will be, or 117.30. If they trade below that, I would be back range bound on the bonds. But starting off with a slight bias to the upside. Let's see if they're going to be some movement to the upside, or if this is just a little probe above the resistance area. So pretty range bound stuff still. So looking to sell against this area. Could be an edge here at 1810. We'll see if that develops. Or at 1816s. We're going to buy against 1730, 1722, and that's about it. So pretty straightforward stuff on the bonds. I'm just waiting for whatever the day range throws at me, and then looking for that potential setup. It usually happens right at the open, at the 8:20 open, at the 9:30 open, or the London close. So one of those three usually tend to develop into a decent trade. Late in the day trades like in the 1:32 clock hour has happened too. Yes, it's all though that the bond market pretty much has died by then, and you don't get much directional move at all after that. So there we have it. Back to the ES and Nasdaq, and we got a few more minutes before we get our PPI number. So I'm going to get a bit more coffee and then get ready. So you guys, good trading. This is the last trading day of February. It could be a little bit of rotations based on that, but we'll see you guys back at 11:30 for the next update. Ready, guys, later.